In this unboxing and tabletop review, I'm going to talk about something that I don't normally talk about on this channel, and this being a tablet computer. This is something that, like most of the items I review, I purchased for myself. It is a Acer Iconia Tab. It is an 8-inch tablet and carries a part number of A1-840-131U. Now, I purchased this off of eBay for $59.95 shipped as a refurb directly from Acer. And I wasn't really in the market for this item, but somebody had wrote an article that ended up on Yahoo News that I read, and I don't remember who it was from or where they pulled the article from, but this person was saying, hey, look at this great deal and yada 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 on eBay, and went and checked it out, and sure enough, this was an excellent deal. This is not Acer's top-of-the-line 8-inch tablet, though. This one does a resolution of 1280 by 800, which is roughly a 720p HD display. It ships with Android 4.4, the KitKat. It has the 1.33 gigahertz Atom Z3735G quad-core processor. It has 1 gig of RAM. The memory is the DDR3L SD RAM. It supports micro SD card. And I don't know how large of a card you can put in it. I have a 32 gig card in it, which works fine. So at least a 32 gig will work. This particular tablet has 16 gigs of internal storage. One thing to keep in mind, those numbers are always misleading because although it says 16 gig, that doesn't mean there's 16 gig free. That means total there's 16 gig. When I powered this up for the first time and went in and took a look at the configuration, around 6 gig is used by the operating system, so you've got about 10 gig free. So keep that in mind. Something like this would need to be, you would need to supplement your storage with a micro SD card, and it does have that slot, and you can do that. The screen is active matrix TFT color. Wi-Fi is 802.11b, G or N. It does have a micro HDMI output. Has a 1-cell lithium polymer battery, I believe. It does have a digital camera. It is a 5 megapixel. It does have Bluetooth. Touchscreen, GPS. The dimensions are 5.1 inches by 0.3 of an inch by 8.5. The weight is 12.7 inches. Or, excuse me, the product weight is 12.7 ounces. And it has a 90-day limited hardware warranty due to the fact that this is a refurb. So, like I've already mentioned, I've already taken this out of the box because I had to charge it and take a look at it and make sure I was somewhat familiar with it. This is the Acer Box. It ships in. Inside of this box is limited warranty, quick start guide, charge the battery up right away sort of thing. It does come with the USB cable and a USB wall charger. This charger does get pretty hot when it's charging, just so you know. And it ships like this, wrapped in plastic. And you kind of fold this back. Not that the packaging is of consequence, but you know, you could probably, with the way this is packaged, you could probably drop this 3 or 4 feet onto the ground and it's not going to damage the tablet. So pretty good packaging, although I definitely do prefer foam over this type of packaging, but it is a refurb. I'm also going to talk about in this review, we're going to talk about the notebook. I'm also going to talk about a case for this, which I purchased. I'm not going to do a separate review. I'm going to do a review a little later on for the IVSO carry case for this tablet. Now this particular one, this particular tablet, you have to excuse all the fingerprints here because this did show up clean. This supposedly is a refurb, although I don't see any signs of previous use. So if it was a refurb, they replaced the casing on it and or the screen. The front here is white, the rear is silver. We've got some decals, speaker configuration here, camera, SD card, and like I mentioned, I already have a card in there. I have a SanDisk Ultra 32 gig card in there. The SanDisk Ultra is not the fastest Class 10 card on the market. I think it's 30 to 40 megabits a second transfer rate. So it's better than most, but SanDisk has faster cards. I've actually got a 720p movie on this card that I'm going to play to show you that this card is plenty fast in this particular tablet. So this screen got fingerprints because of me playing around with it a little bit. The condition of this, excellent for a refurb. Now, before I start getting into this, I'm a PC guy, and that's where the majority of my expertise lies, is with Windows applications. To a lesser extent, I do have some experience with OS X platform. I've never owned an Android device before, so this is my first Android device. I'm not going to do a review on the Android operating system because I am nowhere close to being qualified for that. But I wanted to throw that out there that if you see me fumbling around with the operating system, it's because of my lack of experience. On the side here, volume, power switch, and then of course on the other side the micro SD card slot. I've already put this on the charger. I've got roughly 100% charge on it. It had about 15% charge when it arrived and I took it out of the box. So it was enough for me to power it up and go through some of the initial configuration screens. But I had to put it on the charger, so I didn't want to come down here and try and do a review on it with such a low charge on the battery. What I've initially found with this so far is this is an excellent 8-inch tablet. This comes with a whole lot of stuff pre-installed. I use a lot of, I use Chrome, I use Gmail, I use Google+, I use YouTube. This ships with pretty much all the Google applications installed. You just have to basically log in, do some configuration. I've got a weather app I configured, and some Google configuration. Added it to my wireless access point, configured my wireless printer, a few little miscellaneous things that were not complicated. Maneuvering around Android operating system is not unlike maneuvering around like an iPhone with iOS on it. You've got swipes and flicks and different pages and things of that nature to get a hold of your applications. I haven't gone through everything on here. I'm new to Android. A lot of stuff that I use comes pre-installed on here. I've not tested the camera, and I've not tested much else at this point. This was supposed to just more or less be a tabletop review on what I thought of this device at the price point. I am extremely happy with this device at the price point of $59.95, shipped in the condition it arrived in. Unfortunately, I thought about this. I went back to buy another one of these, and of course Acer was sold out. They sold several thousand of these, so I don't know what to tell you. I wanted to buy another one too. I should have bought two of them, but you know, I didn't want to buy two duds. Thought I'd buy one and check it out, and if I liked it, I'd buy another. So kind of kicking myself I didn't buy a second one. The screen on this is very nice. The display, the auto rotation, the functionality, it's not unlike a cell phone, of course, with the G sensor on it. Took me a little bit to figure out exactly where we go with how to get to our SD card. I installed a VLC player on this, and I've got a movie that a 720p movie, which I'm not going to play a lot of, because whenever I play music or play a movie or anything of that nature on YouTube, my YouTube videos get flagged for copyright infringement. It makes it difficult for me to actually display something, or use something as for a demo. And that's basically what I'm trying to do here. And underneath my particular lights right here, this may or may not be showing up very well. I'm very happy with this display. This particular movie is actually on the SanDisk Ultra SD card. It's playing from the SD card. The audio is synced up with the video, plays fine, rich color depth. So, if you're going to pick up something like this and load up a bunch of movies on an SD card, that shouldn't be a problem with Playback. This is the one of the only functionalities I've initially tested, and why is because, well, on a tablet like this, I use it for portability. I do email, I'll do YouTube, I'll do eBay, I'll watch movies, and that's most of what I would use something like this for. It's primarily for traveling. That's why I bought it. Traveling with a notebook, notebook 5, 6, 7 pounds. This is under 1 pound. It's a lot smaller, a lot longer battery life on it. It's definitely way more portable. So that's my main justification for this particular device. So the movie playback was very important, and I wanted to make sure that I could get smooth playback from the SD card and not have to transfer movies from the SD card to the internal memory to get decent playback. This, again, I hate to go into Android because I am like total noob with Android. There's just a ton of stuff on here. I don't even know what some of these applications are. Most of the Google apps I'm familiar with. The only thing I've put on it is VLC at this point. I mean, it ships with Skype, it ships with YouTube, Google Hangouts, Google Plus, Chrome, Gmail. I just have not gone through all of these. And those are pretty much the applications, and then you go into the widget section. and I haven't played around with any of this. The swipes, the functionality, the ability to maneuver through the operating system. I'm familiar with that to an extent since I use an iOS handset, but there's still going to be a learning curve for me with this device. So I'm giving this 2 thumbs up at this point. I'm extremely happy with this, and I definitely apologize I can't show you much more in depth on this at this point, because it's going to take me a while to learn the functionality of this operating system. But so far everything has been extremely easy to get up and running. Also notice that with a lot of these little icons, these little bars at the bottom or the top, if you swipe down on them, it expands them, and you can see more information, like with the programs that are running. You can swipe down on it and it'll show you everything that's running or any messages. Probably old news for Android experts. That's kind of new for me. I found that out by accident. Anyway, one last thing I wanted to talk about was the model, the step-up model from this. Now, this model on Acer's website, again, is A1-840-131-U. If you were to buy this brand new, it has $150 retail. Their upgraded model, which, you know, if you wanted a more advanced model than this one, is the A1-840-FHD-19XL. That has $180 retail. It has a different processor in it. It has the Z7345 processor. I don't know the differences between the Z3735G, the processor in this one, and the Z3745. They're both 1.33 gigahertz. They're both quad core. The upgraded model, the 19XL model, the one that Acer sells, has 2 gigs of memory. It uses LPDDR3 memory. Still 16 gigs internally, still 8-inch screen size. It has a screen resolution of 1920 by 1200, which is more of a 1080p type resolution. Those are the big differences that I noticed. There might be some others, but you know, when I was looking at the specs, that's more or less what I came up with. The battery runtime appeared to be the same, the dimensions, the weight, and so on. So you get a few little upgrades. Now, I did look for that particular model, the 19XL refurb, and I didn't really see any, so I settled for this one. Okay, so moving on from the tablet, we'll set that aside for a second. Now, of course, whenever you buy a tablet, you are going to want to protect it with some sort of a case or a cover. And I did a bit of investigating before I bought, before this one actually arrived. And I settled on a case, like I had previously mentioned. I settled on a case made by IVSO. Now, it's advertised to fit the A1-840FD tablet. That's the upgraded model to this one. And it is a lightweight, ultra slim, smart cover case with a lifetime warranty. And this is it. And of course it's in white, and my whole display area is white, so hopefully that shows up okay. Kind of looks like the type of case covers that you would use on like an iPad. This is just a foam packing material. On the inside is a nice felt material. The back of this folds, so you can, excuse me, you can do something here. You can fold this thing up like so and set this down. So it acts as a stand for your tablet as well. I've not installed this or used this particular item yet. I picked this up off of eBay from a US seller. I didn't want to buy this from China. This ran about $18 shipped. The build quality of this is very nice. There's magnets in it, so when you close this, it stays shut. And of course, the felt lining in here is going to protect your tablet. Hard plastic on the back, and then of course this soft kind of leather-like material on the front. If we take the tablet, I believe we just kind of set it and then pop it into place like so. Now the one thing I noticed right away is when you pop this in, if you look over there, you can see where the micro SD card slot is. You can still get to it. It's not extremely convenient, but you can still get to it. Close is good. You've got access to the power button, the rocker switch, your ports on the top. Well, I didn't mention this, but the ports on the top. We have the micro HDMI. And whoops, sorry if it's not in frame there. Micro HDMI. This is the USB charging port. I believe that's a headset jack. Microphone maybe, a little hole right there, not sure. Camera cutout and speaker cutouts, and then power and volume rockers. Excellent case for this little tablet. Let's see. So although this is actually advertised as being made specifically for the upgraded Acer 8-inch tablet, the more advanced model, it does fit this one just fine. Excuse me while I try to figure out how this actual little stand thing here in the back works. Something like that. I'll have to play around with this and figure out how that is supposed to work. Well, it's advertised as being a leather folio cover. I don't know if it's really leather or not. Probably some fake leather. Microfiber interior, and then the cutouts. And it has a lifetime warranty. And again, I got this off of eBay. I don't remember the seller, but if you do an Acer Iconia Tab search for IVSO, you'll come up with several of these in different colors. And I mean, you can get these from $17 all the way up to like $25. So obviously I got this for $17 and some change. All right, I'm obviously challenged here when it comes to figuring out how this is supposed to work. But anyway, it doubles as a stand, and if you can figure out how to do it, I'm going to play around with it. I'm sure there's a specific way you have to get the magnets to connect to each other so the stand functions. I'll give this IVSO Slim Smart cover case 2 thumbs up as well. The build quality is good. The price was right. The fit is perfect. There's something to be said about buying a case or a case cover that's made specifically for your model. It's going to fit it perfectly. And that's what I like about this. I was under the impression that I thought that closing this would make it go to sleep, but maybe that's a function you have to turn on via the operating system. Yeah, maybe that's something I have to figure out. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this short tabletop review of the Acer Iconia Tab 8-inch refurb tablet and the IVSO lightweight slim smart cover case. Great buys on both of these. And that's going to wrap it up.